Hey, this is Justin Gatlin, and you're watching FastLifeShow.com.
Check out this exclusive interview highlight.
Fast Life is now set to welcome Olympic bronze 100-meter medalist and 4x100-meter silver Olympic medalist and now American record holder, Mr. Justin Gatlin. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Justin, it is great to have you on the show back once again on the Fast Life. I need to know if you understand what I understand. When I look across the boards at the men's 100, 200, 400, and 800-meter Olympic events, you are the only U.S. man to have made the podium and brought back a bronze medal for the United States of America.
You know, definitely not taking anything away from my teammates. I think we went out there we know who's going to battle. We know it's going to be harder and harder each Olympics because countries are basically rallying up to know that they have good talent to come out there. So we have to definitely be on our A game once we be out there.
Absolutely. And like I said, I just wanted to really kind of sort of highlight that fact of just how much of an incredible season I think you put together at age 30, a season where, many didn't really foresee you having.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people wrote me off a long time ago, and it just gave me a lot of drive and to push through everything I've been through, and all my teammates that's rallied behind me, my friends, my fans who pushed me to get back to where I am now. It all goes to them, all the support that they've given me.
Absolutely. And, you talk about support, you talk about drive. One of the things I enjoyed most about this season, this year for yourself, was really watching that pre-race aggression routine that you had. It was really indicative of what you were about to put down on the track. It really, I think, suited your plight well, and it kind of let it, of course, us know in the story, and then you really, let the track and let your running speak for itself. So taking all that into focus, kind of where are you at right now with your accomplishment as opposed to before you had actually made the achievement?
I think I want to get it out there, everybody, before they realize I'm a real cool guy off the track. I've had a lot of girls, especially come through London, everything like, oh, you look so mean, you look angry, you look like you don't look approachable. I just want to know that I'm really calm, really mellow, very laid back kind of guy, nonchalant at sometimes. When I'm on the track, that's my game face. When I get out there, I only have 9 seconds to prove to you guys that I'm one of the best sprinters out there and to give you a great show. You guys pay all that money out there to see us run for 9 seconds. We don't play four quarters. We don't have 2 halves. It's not downs. So you want to see a great show. You want to see intensity. That's where we get to bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely brought the intensity, and you always capitalized it with a nice salute. So Justin, if you talk about the 9 seconds, to be specific, it's 9.79 seconds for yourself, and I want to talk more about the .01 seconds that really separated yourself from having the thrill of the podium versus the agony of that 4th place defeat. Where are you at with the .01?
Blessed. It really didn't sink into me until maybe a few days later, looking back at the race, and just to be a part of making history and help stopping the world for 9 seconds, and to know that it was even less than a snap of a finger that I could have been on the podium or I could not have been on the podium. And I think that really showed me that I had a lot of fight going into the line. I didn't give up anything. Any mistakes I made in the race, I have flaws in the race, I'm going to go back in 2013 and fix them, but I gave everything out there all the way coming to the finish line.
No, absolutely. And then we saw the events at the finish line. Of course, you were in bronze place, and just that .01 second behind you was co-American Tyson Gay. A real, it's certainly a tough, between the two of you guys in terms of fates. If you look before into that, and that's .01 seconds, and I look at it, I guess sort of a lot of the Olympics is front loading, the marketing and the stuff. And your season that you were having, which is pretty much, replicating your time from age 19, I think there was certainly cause to put some information and some marketing behind you, but up until you winning the U.S. trials, there really wasn't, and we still didn't know if Tyson was getting ready to run. So what were your thoughts about leading up, I guess, with the support and the marketing for yourself?
I think that people wanted to sit back and spectate and see exactly where I was coming from, and I made the world team last year, but I didn't medal. I didn't even get out of the semis. So I think a lot of people were waiting to see what I was going to bring to the table. And I wanted to come through this season because last year I was hurt. I had frostbite on both of my Achilles, so it prevented me to go out there and doing better than I did last year. And I think this year I wanted to dominate from the start of my season, which was January, December, all the way to the end where I couldn't run no more when I got food poisoning. So from end of December all the way to the end of the maybe the 18th, right after 2 days after the Olympics, I ran Nations, and from that time, almost 8 months, I really lost only 2 races, and I dominated that, and I felt like it was really good for me because I just really wanted to show everybody, show the world that I can be dominant again, and I definitely can run with the big boys.
Now, you did that, and I think a great image you gave to the world was just prior to the Olympics was, of course, at the U.S. trials with your son on top of your shoulders after victory. You know, much of this has been rebuilding your name and now having a son. How much has it meant, for you to have that image, basically transmitted around the globe?
It means a lot to me because my son is my priority. He's my life. He's my love. A lot of people I think get to the line when they run or when they compete and they're like, I got to do this for my child. I really don't look at the situation like when I get to the line, I'm still focused on what I need to do. But everything that I accomplish after I cross the finish line is for him and for my family. So he's definitely given me new sense of hope, new motivation to go out there and know when he gets ready to go to pre-K and kindergarten, he can be proud. He's already proud. He sees his dad on posters and ads and flyers, and he's like, that's my daddy. So I love that. I definitely love that a lot.
That's absolutely exciting. I'm glad that's happening for yourself and your family. Let's talk about your other event, which of course now has you as a co-American record holder and Olympic silver medalist again in 2012. That's the 4x100 men's relay. Obviously, some questions in terms of what had happened in the past leading into this, but what led to the success this year with Coach John Drummond and yourself, Trell, Tyson, and Bailey?
I think that what we did different from other past relays is that we used camaraderie, and we took a week in Monaco, and we just sat down. We had powwows, we had meetings. We also just had relay practice. That's what it really was. It just boiled down to relay practice and trying different orders, where this person going to fit, who has good chemistry where, and we came out to the best order that we could going into the Olympics with the time that we had. And I think that it was a safe order, it was a good order, and we showed a lot of dominance.
Now, certainly, you obviously kept the exchange from Trell to yourself, being 3-4 in the rounds to 1-2 going into the final. Was that part of the plan going in?
That was definitely part of the plan going in, and I feel good with Trell. Trell brings a lot of excitement, a lot of intensity to the track, and for him to be the leadoff, it kind of startles me a little bit because he's bringing all that energy to me, so I have to be prepared for it. It's either sink or swim, fight or flight, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. He's gonna bring all that energy. He's gonna make sure he walks down 2 guys, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna walk down 2 guys too. And once we hand the stick off, our job is done, and we're gonna sit back, grab some popcorn, and watch the rest of our teammates do what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, after Tyson's exchange to Bailey, I think Bailey and Bolt were maybe close to about even. Maybe Bailey a stride behind Bolt. What were your thoughts at that moment?
We went into the relay camp thinking, okay, if Bailey's gonna run anchor, we're gonna have to give him a good cushion, and I told Trell, I was like, you take off a meter, I'm gonna add on the meter too. You add on the meter, and Tyson, you add on the meter, and then Bailey, you come back and put another meter try on Bolt. That'll give us at least 4 meters to work with, going into that home stretch. And that was our game plan, because when you deal with somebody like Usain Bolt and then Johan Blake giving him the stick on the curve, that's a 1-2 combo that's going to be really deadly.
No, absolutely. Well, talk about this. When you looked up and realized you had the 37:04, equaling the former world record, what were your thoughts?
I was excited. I knew that we could break the world record. I knew that we can come out there and win. I just knew it because they didn't have the firepower that was needed to run with us at that point in time, definitely from first to second. And we just had to make sure that we had a great handoffs from third going into fourth and second going into third as well. But when we broke the American record in the prelims with just safe passes, I was like, oh, we're about to make some history. If it's not a world history, we're about to make American history. And that's what we did.
Well, now let's talk about that. That gold medal position was in Jamaica's world record time of 36.84. That's about, what, 0.2 of a second behind the time that, of course, you just put down for the American record. Let me ask you this: in your estimation, we've obviously lost Demps now to the Patriots in the National Football League, and hoping that Tyson Gay comes back 100% healthy if there were any injury concerns. Can you see a team being put together to catch that 36.84?
Oh, definitely. I mean, because I think that, track and field is a sport that what have you done for me lately? And I've experienced that to the fullest, And I think that having someone like Walter Dix, who was injured this year, he's a competitor. And I know he's going to come back ready to blast, ready to go out and run fast. And to have him and have that camaraderie go into the relay, we just got to have another thoroughbred come out there and help contribute to the cause of going out there getting a world record, or either going out there and getting a gold medal.
Absolutely. So let's talk about next season, Justin. What's going to be your drive in 2013? What are you looking to set up and accomplish?
I want to go out there and just better my race and come out there with the same intensity as last year. Just a little more relaxed. The big year's over, but next year is just as important to me because it's a world championship year. And all the guys I ran against this year and ran with, we got to lock horns again and got to work together again next year to prove to the world that we are a dominant force. And everything you saw last year in 2012 was just a prelude to what we can do in 2013.
Right. Now, I mean, you obviously got the good clothes, and I think your start certainly improved. And when you ran your race, did you that final race, did you feel like you pressed a little too soon at any point in the race? Was there any way you would execute it differently? So I guess I'm asking that, how would you look to better the 9.79?
Definitely. I came across the line. I wasn't upset, but I knew that if I had a better strategy going into the race, I think that me and my coach, we worked on to attack from 40 to 60. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we attacked, because if you watch the race, I attacked from the gun, and I moved, and I was out front between 40 and about 40 to 50, and everyone was right there. And then they moved from 50 to 70, So I feel like if I go back and I try to model a better race pattern and move from 50 to 70, I think I'll put up a better effort and a faster time to compete against guys like Bolt and Blake.
Absolutely. And this year, 2012, saw you once again reunite with a shoe manufacturer. Of course, you're signed to Chinese manufacturer Xtep, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. First, tell me a little bit about what it was like shooting that commercial. I happened to see a glimpse of you running on these movable blocks.
Well, the movable blocks are actually washing machines. So they just have crazy cutting-edge concepts over there in China, and I love it because it fits to my character, what I like. I like to be the guy who's in the crowd but still stands out as an individual. And to be able to get up there and say, hey, you know what? We're going to have you running on these washing machines to show off these new shoes they call it anti-vibration shoes. So basically it's their version of shock shoes. And once you get out there, and I have a pair at home, a couple of pair at home, and to wear them, it feels good. It feels good on my feet. It feels good to be an individual right now out in the world wearing that X. People call me X-Man, so I feel honored to be their first track and field athlete and to be their ambassador for running.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Justin. Let me put it in this perspective for you. Of course, you remember going into the games, U.S. Sanders raised a ruckus about the Ralph Lauren USA podium uniforms being manufactured in China, and to some extent, I guess, the Nike athletic uniforms as well. And I remember speaking with Ronaldo, he related to athletics, the Olympics as being war through athletics. So of course, we always pit the China versus the United States and the medal counts and everything. And you now being, I guess, like you said, a great spokesman for the future generation of a Chinese manufacturer, and what you're going to do over there. What are your thoughts about that in terms of, should a U.S. manufacturer have been in your court earlier and maybe looked a little bit past some of the past discretions of the ban time? Or what are your thoughts on how you kind of stand on that?
I mean, as far as I know, I'm not a history buff in the making of Nike products, but if I look back at the different uniforms that were made for the Olympics, all the way back to 2000, they're all Nike uniforms that we competed in. And as far as I know, they haven't changed where they're manufactured. So if they're in China, they've been in China since 2000. Even before then, I've seen outfits that Carl Lewis has worn. And I think that if we make a fuss about it now, we should have made a fuss about it before. And if we want camaraderie and the people, the Congress people, and all these people who have no dog in the fight, basically, to where our clothes are being made at. If they want to help contribute and build a factory here for Nike, Adidas, or anybody else who they feel is, a Nike stable or American stable for running or any other sport, then I would love to help welcome them to contribute that. But until then, the clothes have been made in China, the clothes have been made in different parts of the world.
Right.
And that's how the world has always been.
No, it is interesting. I would just love to see, the same sort of the way that Xtep and that culture is getting ready to embrace you. I would love to see it on the U.S. side for you accomplishing as a U.S. guy. And, I think, you in terms of, if I believe is the band that led to some of people's wanting to shy away from you in that situation, I feel as though, it's a time that you served and you still shouldn't necessarily have been penalized in different ways in the sport. It's just kind of my point on the take, Justin, what I would like to see personally, because I think what your accomplishments have meant for Team USA. And look, we can't always write the narrative of our heroes, and what you did accomplish, I think, in that men's historic 100-meter race is nothing to be sold short.
I just think that the adversity, is the measurement of a true man. And, not just speaking for myself, but all men in history who have accomplished great things before and after they've had adversity, I take my hat off to them, because those are the people that paved the way, and those people I look to for guidance to say, hey, you know what? Everything I've done before my 4 years was God-given talent, and I want to show the world within 1 year all the stuff that I did in 2000, was just echoing for what I did from 2003 all the way to 2006. So I'm just excited to see what I can do 2013 and 2014 going into the next Olympics in Rio.
Yeah, that's incredible. That would put you at about age 33 on the border of 34 for Rio, right?
That's right. That's right.
And this history suggests it's going to be tough in your events, but some names have managed some feats at those times. I know you can't necessarily predict 4 years, but let's take them one at a time, right? And I think we'll know when we get there.
Exactly. Okay. That's how I tried it, one step at a time, literally.
Hey, man, you did a number of great steps in those 9.79 seconds on that historic meet. And, real quickly before I close on the track, Justin, have you had time to absorb what it's been to be a part of that historic men's 100-meter lineup?
Not yet. I watched, you run so much during the year that you run a race, you accomplish that race, you finish that race, all right, on to the next race. And that's how you feel. And I think that once I crossed the line, and that's how I took it, like, all right, get ready for the next race, because you're going to be racing all these guys again at one point in time. And you got to run faster and faster and faster, and you got to hold these guys off. So that's how I felt. So now that I have had some downtime, I was able to feel feel honored to be a part of history and making history and stopping the world for 9 seconds, and to be immortalized, to say, hey, you know what? Had Bolt to my right, had Blake to my left, Tyson on the other side of Blake. It was almost like a fantasy track and field lineup.
Right.
So, it felt good. I'm glad I'm part of it. I'm glad I was able to put that code in, put my name in. I'm back in the mix of things, and I'm out there running.
Absolutely. And Justin, real quick, being that you're at about the age 30, with the extra wear and tear that the deuce would puts on the body, do you think, or do you anticipate staying with the 100-meter event, or might you look at the 2 in some years?
Actually, I trained for the 2 this year. So the training, I'm going to get the base training needed for 200, and I opened up at Florida Relays this year with a 2011 and only running like 150 meters or less, 120 meters of the race. And that's what my coach wanted me to do. So the strategy. So open up with a 2011 and not running all out. I think that's pretty good. And I want to see what I can do next year with a stronger base and a smarter strategy going into both races. And I think that I'm going to go out there and run a couple of 200s. So we'll see.
Okay, we'll definitely see as it happens. But Justin, you know what? I need to know who is going to win this race between Carmelita Jeter's cheetah and the Justin Gatlin cheetah?
I think Carmelita Jeter's cheetah has a great start, but in the long run, that longevity, Justin Gatlin, the Justin cheetah is gonna go out there and be victorious and edge her out the line. It's gonna be a great race to watch.
I understand that. Let's let the listeners know we're talking about two cubs at the Washington Zoo, the two cub cheetahs at the Washington Zoo that have been named after yourself and Carmelita for your outstanding achievements in the 100 meters. Are they at least male and female as well?
They are male and female, and it's an honor to be having a namesake like a cheetah, the world's fastest animal, and to go visit them. It's going to be an honor within itself, and I'm just happy to be here and see these animals in person. I've never seen a cheetah up close and in person, so to have that and know that this cheetah is going to grow and become a strong adult cheetah and go out there and break the cheetah world record, I'm already picking that too. That's my prediction, so you can add that on to my NFL predictions too.
All right.
But
have you taught it how to salute? Have you taught it how to pace back and forth yet?
Not yet. You know what? I'm gonna get that going. So I'm gonna hang a piece of meat over there by the cage. It's gonna pace back and forth. We're gonna work on the salute though.
Okay, definitely. Hey, Justin, I want to thank you for coming through. Appreciate you spending all this time. Once again, congratulations on that success of 2012. That was really something that might not have been possible 4 or 5 years ago, and just having the intestinal fortitude to stick through it and really achieve what you achieved in representing Team USA to the fullest.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Much respect to Fast Life. You guys are doing a great job, and everyone watching, salute. Thank you for everything.